let's go to our code. Let's start the live server. Okay, so the events are nothing but what they say. So whenever I interact with the browser or any of the DOM elements, I can listen for specific events and perform action on top of the DOM elements. So not only on the triggered item, event that was triggered on, it can affect any other item in the DOM structure. So this box, if I click on this, it need not affect this box itself. It can affect any other part of the browser DOM tree. So let's go to MDN docs. So we have different set of events that are triggered on keyboard, mouse, trackpad. If we have any other devices, we can track events on those also. So the keyboard events, we can see which key was pressed, which key was released, all that we can identify. So we can also get from the key code what's the key that was pressed. So let's try adding some event on this box. Let's go to our code. Let's say this is the box I want to listen for events on. So I can select by this class. Just 1 second. Let's say the way to add events, event handling is by selecting the element and then adding an add event listener. Let's try that. So let's select this element. The way to select this element is through query selector, document dot get query selector. The by class we're going to select, which is the class of this element, is left. And we have the element, left box. Let's say I'll store it in a constant left box. Now I want, while we are at it, let's just see this side by side. I keep the console cleared. Here I'm going to add a listener for click events. Left box dot add event listener. This accepts 3 parameters. We are only going to use the first 2 parameters. If we see add event listener, let's search for this is the event listener method which accepts 2 parameters, 3 parameters actually. We can make use of this too. So this options is an advanced parameter which we'll not be using in this class, and most of the cases we won't be using the options. It's to customize the event triggering mechanism. So that's an advanced concept. Most of the times we won't be using it. So the type of event will be dependent on what device we are identifying. So type of events is going to be, for us, it's going to be the mouse event. It's a click, right? So inputs, keyboards, mouse. So if we see this, events related to computer mouse, if you see, you can get all the reference of all events that the mouse can trigger. Yes. So we are actually interested in click. Let's search for click. click event, double click event, mouse up and mouse down. So these are the mouse events. So let's go into click. If you see the syntax, so this is how we should add the event. So the type of the event is going to be click, and then a function that accepts an event as a parameter, and then something happens on that. Let's just print the event that was triggered. Let's go to the process figure, and then let's click on this. So this has logged an event. We can see all the properties of this event. Alt key was false. So if we see the client X and client Y, this is the position on the screen where the click happened. So at location X location 280 and Y location 370. So X coordinate starts from here to the right, and Y coordinate starts from here top left to the bottom. So X and Y, so horizontal and vertical. So the 00 location is at the corner of the document. So 280 pixels right and 370 pixels down. That is where the click happened. Is seen here. This control key specifies whether the control key was pressed or not at that point of click. And also we can see X and Y, same thing. So we have identified this. Now, how do we interact or change this DOM tree based on the events? We can actually use this keyword. Let's print this. Inside this context, what does this point to? Let's click on this item. And if you see that this element, this is actually pointing to the window item, the start window. So window is the topmost object in the browser DOM tree. So if we try to print window, so window is available, window object is by default available to the entire context of the JavaScript. I click. So this is the window tree, window object, which has global parameters properties. If you want to store something in the browser, we can actually make an object and add to the window object. So in this place, we are going to use left box to actually get the styles. Left box class list, let's say class list dot add active. I'm going to add class as active. If we go inspect this element, this class has only left. So let's click on this, and now the active class has been added. Suppose if we have some styling applied to active, as soon as we click it, active will apply those stylings. Let's use the styles, something like active. Let's put some active class here. Apply some styles to this. So background color, I'll just put red. Let's go on this. As soon as we click, the background color has to change. It did not. Let's find out why. If we inspect this, let's see if there is something overriding this property, color red. So this is more specific. There is CSS rules apply in the most specific items. The selection criteria, if we have more specific rule, that gets preference over less specific rule. So any item that has active class, it's going to apply this. As we are specifying boxes and div, this has higher preference over this. For that, I need to add this to active to override the specificity. This is called the specificity of CSS rules. We'll look into that in the CSS classes in the upcoming days. So if I click now, this class is getting applied, active class is getting applied, and the rule that says the color should be red is applied. So we can do animations, we can do much more with event listeners like this. It's just a sample of what we can do in mouse events. We will look into mouse enter and mouse out also. So upon a specific location, when a mouse enters a specific location, the browser can detect that location. Let's just search for mouse events. Yeah, this mouse move events is what we need to identify. There is something called mouse enter also. Let's search in documentation. Okay, this mouse enter event will identify when the mouse pointer has entered a specific location. Let's add an event listener for the right side box. Use and this time mouse enter event I'm going to add. This is going to be right box. Let's figure out. We have a right and the CSS rules boxes division active. So this is going to add the class active to the element. Let's refresh. Click. And this is not working. Mouse enter. Let's just try printing the event. If the event is getting triggered or not. It got triggered, mouse event enter. Now I'm going to add the class right box dot class list and mouse entered. We go to the elements. Okay, now it has added the mouse entered event. Let's try adding active. Now it's added active, but this is not applying this color element because there is a more specific rule, element style has been applied. If we go into the DOM tree, background color, somebody has applied background color as purple. So this is overriding the element styles. So let's do one thing. We'll comment out this rule. So the more specific rule is that is specified in the DOM tree itself. If a style has been specified for an element here in the attributes, that will take the highest preference over other rules that we write in the CSS. So these things we will discuss when we are talking about CSS rules and specificity. So for now, we'll just comment out this section. Not this purple. This one I'm going to comment out. It's not adding the. Okay, heading color is not defined. Okay. I think we should still have this. Don't change this. Okay, now the mouse event is getting triggered. Now we are going to add active got added, but styles are not applied. It's still having the background color as purple. New color. Okay, this is the one. Here we should comment out. Yeah, now it works. So as soon as we enter refresh, as soon as we enter this box item, the color is changing to red because it's adding the class active. And background color is red for active elements. Now, as soon as this leaves the mouse exit is another event that we are going to use to remove this active class here. Upon the mouse exit or mouse leave, sorry, mouse leave is the another event. Mouse enter and mouse leave. This mouse leave event is what we're going to use to detect if the mouse has left this box. We'll add one more event listener for mouse leave event. So we are going to remove the active class from here in this box. Now, as soon as I enter it, it will be active. Leave it, the active class got removed. So this is how we add interactivity to elements with friends. So let's use something called this. So this is anonymous function inside this. this doesn't have any context. This element, if we console log of this won't have any meaning inside it. That's this is actually printing the window object, which is the global this object. Let's try adding this event listener as an anonymous function. Instead of using arrow functions, I'm going to use a function like this and print this keyword here. So I enter, exit, and this now refers to the element that got the event. So in this case, this keyword refers to the right box that referred this event, that got this event. So this will closely help us to basically manipulate the current object that the event got triggered on. Instead of using the right box item here, I can actually use this dot class list dot remove of active. Same way, we can have if I use anonymous function instead of the arrow function, I can use this keyword to refer to this right box instead of finding out the object. Even if we don't have the reference to the object, within the function, we can find out the object reference. We are active. Now let's do another way. Let's say create a function. My event, my let's say mouse enter handler. This accepts the parameter event. Inside here, let's print this keyword. Similarly, we'll use mouse leave handler. So in place of this, I'm going to use mouse enter handler, removing the entire thing and just adding the function reference. Similarly, instead of this, I'm going to use mouse leave handler. Let's move these two calls to the bottom. These things also to the bottom. So now I defined two functions on enter, on leave, and adding those functions here. Let's see if I enter it, that this keyword is now referring to the button that was triggering the event. So in this fashion, we can actually manipulate that object directly from this keyword. Class list add active. Inside this, remove class active. This way, without having to parse through the DOM tree, we can add or remove attributes to the elements that had the event triggered. So this is a good use case for this keyword. So I think we have covered basic events, but you can do infinite number of things with all the keyboard events, key down event. Similarly to mouse events, we can have keyboard events. Let's go back. So key down event, we can actually identify key down events. So like this, if any press of key happened, any keyboard key got pressed, this event will have the entire details of what key got pressed and everything. So we can handle different type of operations. So we'll get into this event handling when we are actually handling real-time projects. So for now, this is just enough to know this documentation, and this need not be remembered by heart. You can refer to the MDN docs and find out the event types, this keywords and all we can use. So with that, we have one last topic to discuss. If at all there is something wrong with your JavaScript, let's say even your event handling is not working properly or not. So we can have debugging mechanisms built into the browser. Let's go to browser, expanded. Suppose this active, inactive, this is having a difficulty. So we can actually go to the sources to find out the specific line where the problem is and identify. I go to the scripts. If you see here, this gives us all the source code that we have written. In the sources tab, we can find all the source code of this website or this web page. So index is the HTML. You don't have to debug anything there. So what we are interested in is the script.js. So we can have, let's say, if something is failing, if something, this active inactive is not working, and it's one way to do it is putting console logs and checking like this, whether that is entering this particular loop or not, block of code or not. So if that is not helping you, then you can actually go to sources. And let's say in this line, we can see all the code that we wrote. Suppose mouse enter. In this line, I am having a problem. Mouse event handler. So this statement is not working. Then I can have a breakpoint put under this place. If you go to the line number and click on it, so it will put a breakpoint here. So while the code is getting executed, the code will pause over here and show you what all values it has in this particular location. Let's go to the mouse enter. Now the browser has paused execution of code and stopped there. It shows you what values are there in this particular location. The event, we can see the values of it. You can see this keyword's value. Let's say if you have local variables, those things also you can see. The way to move forward is you can actually step by step execute each of these lines by going through this step function. If I click on step, it will go to the next line of code and gives you executes that. And then if I go step again, it will execute the next line. Step again, it will execute the next line. And if it is going into the internal JavaScript routines, we can actually step out to come out of that routine. You can come out Or if you don't want to step execute, if you just want to continue executing, you can actually resume the script by clicking on this. This is called the debugger, and these are called the breakpoints. So we can have any number of breakpoints. Let's just put one more breakpoint somewhere around here. If I reload this page, so first thing, it gives me the values for each return. What is this doing? Item has flashlight in it. And if I put one more breakpoint here and continue executing, it will stop in the next breakpoint. You can see the values in line here. This is how we debug JavaScript. If console logs are not helping, we can debug like this.